guys, and welcome to another webisode of Conversations with Kiera. So thank you so much for tuning in. This is week 3. I'm so glad to have you a part. If this is your first time ever joining on to Conversations with Kiera, please go ahead and subscribe and also hit the post notification bell so that you are alerted when I do post new content. So if you didn't get a chance to already watch the past 2 videos that I've posted, you can definitely go ahead and give that a watch. I want you to be comfortable with who I am and the channel. So definitely go ahead and give those videos a watch. Also, I just want to take out a moment to thank you all for all of the support, all of the views, the shares, likes, comments, everything. I really appreciate your support on this channel. And I pray that our channel continues to grow. We are a family here, so we are all in this together. I hope that my videos inspire you and encourage you just to keep going, because life can get hard, but we have to keep going and just do what it is that we are called to do on this earth. So today, if you have not watched last week's video, today I will be talking about my battle with nephrotic syndrome. So I am going to get into that. I'm going to tell you what it is. When I was first diagnosed, I'll give you a backstory on it, on what happened. I'm also going to give you just like some insight on how it even affects me as an adult today. So I am going to get into that. So when I was 11 years old, I was diagnosed with a very rare disease called nephrotic syndrome. And what nephrotic syndrome is a kidney disease where there is an over leakage of protein that spills out in the urine. So how I like to explain it to some people is, if you've ever seen a strainer, of course, we have blood vessels. Whenever your blood vessels are damaged, it can cause the kidney to look similar to a strainer. The small holes that are in the strainer, that's how the kidney looks. And if you've ever seen like water come out of the strainer, that's how the protein spills out. So it dumps out and through those little holes, and it just dumps out, and it's like an over leakage of protein that's spilling and it comes out, and it causes you to become very sick, because you need those proteins in your body to stay going. But instead they leak out, and it causes you to develop what's called edema. Edema is swelling, so you lose your appetite, you swell. I know for me, I swell a lot, especially like in my feet and my legs. My eyes get very puffy, and it's just, it becomes a mess. And then, so you have this over leakage of protein that's spilling, and then you get nauseous, and some people have headaches. So it's a lot that you go through in an episode, and everyone's different. So everyone's body is not the same. So it can get very crazy. So I know you all may be wondering, like, how did this all come about? Like, what happened? Okay, so just a little backstory. When I was 11, I was at a family barbecue with, my family. My dad, we were living in Memphis at the time, and my dad, he had some family from Mississippi to come, and they came, and I just wasn't feeling good. My eyes were very puffy, and I hadn't been feeling good for like a week. But I didn't say anything because I just didn't know. I didn't know what it was. So I was like, okay, well, I'll get better. So I didn't say anything, and we were at the barbecue, and I noticed my feet were like swelling up. The swelling was getting worse. It was already developing that week prior to the week that we had the barbecue, but it was just very noticeable now. So my dad, he was really like, what's going on? And I was a very healthy kid, so I didn't I barely ever caught a cold. Like, I was always okay. And so the following day, I was feeling worse. I couldn't really urinate. I didn't want to eat anything. I didn't even want to see food. And if you know me, that's not me. I love food. So I just wasn't feeling good. And my mom, she came and she took me to my pediatrician at the time. And the pediatrician said, this is something far beyond what I can treat here. So you need to take her downtown to Labarna Children's Hospital, located in downtown Memphis. So that's where my mom took me. And once we got there, they were running all kinds of tests. They made me do urinalysis. They took a lot of blood. And then the doctor, he came in and said, you have nephrotic syndrome. It's a kidney disease. And that was so foreign to me because I was like, what? What does that mean? What is nephrotic? What? Huh? Like, I didn't know what it was. And so he said, you're going to be in the hospital for a while. So, he was telling my mom, you may want to go and get you some clothes and everything. She's going to be here for a long time. So we're still very puzzled as to what all this is. It's all very new. And I just remember thinking, the first thought in my head was, I'm going to die. Like, I'm gonna die. I don't know what this is, a kidney disease. Like, don't you need your kidneys? Like, well, what does this mean? And he tried his best to explain it to me the best way that he could, as a doctor explaining something like this to a child. And then I remember he told me that the following day I would have to go down and do a biopsy. This was my first biopsy out of 3. I've had 3 biopsies. I just had one a few months ago. I had another one. And that next morning, I remember I was so nervous, but they ended up putting me to sleep. So I went to sleep, and they went ahead and they did the biopsy. I didn't feel anything. I just remember waking up, but I was really sore. My back was hurting. And that was normal because there was still kind of a little bit of blood back there from where they inserted the needle. For those of you that don't know what a biopsy is, it's when they go in, they take a really thin needle, they put it into your back, and then they take a small piece of the kidney out, examine it, and they can tell what form of the disease you have. Now, my results didn't come back right away. I think it took about a few weeks, but when it came back that I had minimal change disease, which is where it's where you spill too much protein in the urine and it causes you to get sick. And that's what the results came out as what I had. So I was very swollen. They had to put me on a medication called prednisone, which is it's a steroid. It strengthens the kidneys and it helps you to stay in remission. Now, while they were giving me that, they were also just, I guess, trying to see how I was going to respond to this medication. But this medication, I'm telling you, it works wonders for me. But it has so many terrible side effects. Like, because I've had this disease since I was 11, I'm 22 now, I've been on this medication for 11 years. I've never been off of it. They have tried to get me down to a low dose, but I've never been completely off. I think the smallest dose I've got down to was like 10 milligrams. And then every time they wean me down, I relapse. And I have to go back up and start all over again. So that's been my journey for 11 years. And it's like, whoa, like, it's just too much sometimes. But after they had told me the form of the disease that I had different doctors coming in telling me, just re-explaining the disease to me and my family, what it was. Everybody was still at a state of shock because, like I said, I was very healthy as a kid. I never really had any kind of health problems or anything. I was healthy. So to go from a healthy kid to a very sick kid, it's like, whoa, what happened? Where did this come from? And you guys, they can't, even now, they can't tell me where this disease ever came from. No one else in my family has it. So it's not like, it was a family thing or anything genetic. We don't know where it came from. But as a child, the disease was very hard. I'm not sure if it's because it was our first time ever experiencing something like that, but everything had to change. My diet had to change. So like normal things that like people eat every day, like food out of a can or processed food, like fast food, chips and like junk food, stuff like that. I can't have that. And sometimes I can, have a bag of chips, or eat out. Sometimes I eat out too much. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not perfect. Sometimes I overdo it and I get sick. But I have learned over the years you can't, even if you want to splurge, you can't. And that was one of the biggest things about having my disease when I was younger, because it was like, I can't be a normal kid. I can't eat hot chips all day with my friends, and we can't order pizza. I can't have more than a certain amount of this, or I can't have this. I can't even drink too much water. So to have all these restrictions against you, it's very hard. Nephrotic syndrome is something that I have to deal with every single day of my life. It's a lot of days I wake up, I don't want to take my medicine. It's a lot of days I don't feel like getting up. I don't feel well. And sometimes, you go through it and it's like, people ask you how you're doing and it's like, man, I don't feel good. And then they ask you what's wrong and you can't even really explain it. Or if you try to explain it, people don't understand because they have no idea what this disease is. So as March comes to a close, that's another reason why I wanted to go ahead and post about nephrotic syndrome, because if you all weren't aware, March is Kidney Awareness Month. So, if you don't know what nephrotic syndrome is, research it. Research it, and if you have questions about it, ask someone. You can ask me. I deal with it every day. So it's very hard. As an adult, it's still very hard. I'm 22 years old, so the typical things that other 22-year-olds are doing, I can't participate in, I can't do. And it's very hard. And I've asked, like, why am I going through this? Like, why do I have to, like, it's so unfair. Like, I can't just go out and just splurge on food, or I can't go out and just do what I want to do. Like, I can't, it's certain things that I have to be very aware of. And like some mornings I wake up, or I'll wake up and I'll like see that my foot is just a little bit swollen, or my ankle may be a little bit swollen, and I'm freaking out because it's like, whoa, I think I'm having a relapse, or I may be relapsing. So, you have to go back up and down on the prednisone, and it's just a lot to go through. And I don't even think that one webisode is going to explain it all, but I am going to talk about the most, try to get you to understand the most that I can in the time that I have. So it's really challenging to deal with this disease, even as an adult, because you may think, okay, yeah, you've had it for 11 years, so you should know. Yes, I've had it for 11 years, but every year has been a different challenge. One particular year, I developed a blood clot in my lung that almost killed me. I was on life support. They were expecting me to leave here. It's just like different challenges, and everybody's body responds differently. So sometimes my body does respond to the medication that I'm currently taking. I've always been taking it, prednisone. But sometimes it's been some times where the prednisone didn't want to work, on its own. So they put me on other medications like mycophenolate and tacrolimus, and they've even thought about trying the Rotoxin injections. So it's a lot. And and that's the unique thing about this disease, because someone else that may have the same exact form, minimal change disease, their body may not respond to the prednisone at all. So it's unique for everybody, and everybody that has this disease, it's like trial and error with the medications. You have to try all these different medicines, and all these medicines have all these different side effects, and it's just hard. Because I know for a fact, like the prednisone, it shreds my bones. Sometimes I wake up and I'm just in excruciating pain from my bones aching so much and hurting. Some days, I wake up just crying, and I don't know why. But the medication makes me have terrible mood swings. It increases my appetite, so I can eat a full, like, I'm not lying, y'all. I can literally eat a full meal, and then like 10 minutes later, I kid you not, I'm in the kitchen making something else, because it's that the medicine, the steroids you have, like, it makes you so hungry. Like, it's almost like I have a bottomless stomach. Like, my stomach can't get enough food, and it's really a struggle. I can't say how many times I have been hospitalized. I have been hospitalized on my birthday. I've been in the hospital, spent Christmas in the hospital. I have spent months at a time in the hospital, weeks at a time in the hospital, the smallest amount is weeks. But it's a journey, and I can't even explain how it is like being a parent of a child that has this disease, because it takes a toll on your family as well. My family is always worried about my health, or worried about if I'm okay, because I've had so many health things to happen to me, so many things, so many times that I've been in the hospital, so many different things that I've been told by doctors, and it's hard. So even for families that have, someone that has this disease, it's hard for them as well, not just for the patients, but for the families and for the friends, people that have friends that have this disease. It's like, oh my gosh, my friend is sick again. Or, because I was talking to one of my best friends the other day, and we've been friends since like 8th grade, and he's always very concerned about my health. And he's like, are you okay? Or like, if I get sick, I hate to even tell him, because he's like, oh man, like, you just go through it. And I do. And a lot of times I have times where I don't feel good and I don't even tell anybody. So it's that part of the disease too. So I understand, like, and those of you that have the disease that are watching, I just want to give you hope. Like, from my heart to yours, like, I understand how it is to have this disease, because I deal with it every single day. I know you deal with it every day. It's a fight that that's not acknowledged, because people don't know about it. And that's why I'm making this video, because I want people to know what nephrotic syndrome is. I want people to be more aware, do your research on it, get more involved with kidney events, and, try to find people that may have the disease that you can talk to. If you have questions, ask. But it's hard having this disease. And I understand what it's like, because it's hard. It's not easy at all. But I encourage everyone that's watching this video, whether you're a patient of the disease, if you have a friend that has it, if you are a parent of a child that may have it, or anything, just take out the time to really think about others. That's what I encourage you to do today. Think about other people. And I know it's easy to look on the outside and say, oh my gosh, she looks fine. Like, She looks like it's nothing wrong with her. But on the inside, it's something else going on that you don't see. It's a battle that you don't see. So, that's why I encourage you to be nice to people, because you just don't know what someone else is dealing with. You have no idea. So I encourage you today, be nice to someone. Be kind, give a smile, give a hug. Well, not right now with everything going on, but just try to be a little bit more caring when it comes to other people, because you just don't know what others may be going through. But like I said, if you have any questions about my disease, I think I'm gonna go ahead and do a part 2 to my disease, because I think it was some things that I didn't really get to touch on, but I'm very limited with time today. So I will be trying to do a part 2 of this. So that will be a perfect opportunity for you to shoot me any questions that you may have about my disease. And I will definitely answer them for you. If I have an answer, I'm pretty sure I will, but just go ahead and shoot me those questions. Please share this, guys, because this took a lot of courage to do. And I'm also going to try to include a slideshow just of some of the hospital visits that I've had, and just so that you can see, kind of give you a visual of what nephrotic syndrome is like, or what someone with nephrotic syndrome looks like when they have a relapse. But guys, that's all for today. Getting a little emotional, so I am going to go ahead and click off. I will be making a part 2 to this. I hope that you found this as some kind of inspiration. I hope that it blesses you, and have a great day.